Welcome back. Today we're talking about wheat and weight loss. And so the topic really is why wheat and gluten have a bad rep and why it's something that you should take a look at if you're trying to lose weight, specifically fat. This is an enormous market, the gluten-free industry, and there's a lot of information out there. So I just wanted to simplify it and start from the beginning. What is gluten? It's a protein that's found in wheat, rye, and barley, and it can even be found in wheat-related grains like kamut and spelt. And it's what gives baked goods and breads that light, chewy texture. You can even find it in creams, and it thickens up creams, and even in soy sauce it's there too. So it's probably in a lot of things that you're eating on a daily basis. Why is it bad? Well, really, it's the most important things is for celiacs, because for these people, they have a severe immune reaction when gluten hits their gut. Their immune system responds to such a degree that it actually starts to kill the cells that are it's the lining within that gut area. So that can be, that's going to make it very difficult for the body to absorb nutrients, and it also leads a lot of undigested particles to go out into the bloodstream and cause a lot of havoc. And this is going to contribute to inflammation, to diarrhea, to abdominal pain, to constipation, and anemia. So there's a lot of reasons why people with celiac disease need to avoid gluten. What about the rest of us? Should we be avoiding gluten? And a lot of studies suggest that we should, especially wheat, because it's the most heavily processed grain, and a lot of the wheat that we're consuming today is genetically modified, which makes it very difficult for our body to recognize. So it is obviously of concern. And then also Dr. William Davis, who you may or may not have read his book, it's called Wheat Belly. He strongly suggests and urges for people to remove gluten from their diet if they're interested in losing weight and if they are concerned about their blood sugar levels. So it isn't something to ignore. Specifically, how does the gluten in wheat, how does it all relate to weight? Well, the thing is that for example, whole wheat bread, it has a way, the wheat in itself and the ingredients in it, for example, they spike your blood sugar so much, actually, in fact, higher than something like a candy bar. And it seems a little bit shocking, but the thing is that it's all about the glycemic index, and the glycemic index does support it. It spikes your blood sugar, which is going to raise your insulin levels. And we know that you're having fluctuation of blood sugar levels is bad, and that's essentially because the insulin, what its role is, it comes in, it removes blood from your sugar from the bloodstream, and then it deposits it into muscles and liver. But a lot of the time, more often than not, it's deposited as fat throughout your body and a lot in your abdominal tract. And that's one of the things that that wheat does specifically as well. It has a way of depositing fat into your abdominal area. So that's of course incredibly important for weight and fat loss. You don't want to have too much of that, as well as the fact that wheat has a tendency to induce a euphoric. It's a very subtle, but it's still a euphoric sensation throughout your body, which causes it to be highly addictive, and it leads to overconsumption. And in general, wheat products, they're carbohydrates. Breads, pastas, baked goods, all that kind of stuff, it's a carbohydrate. And we know that an overconsumption of carbohydrates, that's what leads to fat gain, and a lot of it, especially if you have that addictive behavior to drive it too. So do you need to get off gluten, to get off wheat, to lose fat? Actually, it's definitely something that I would recommend and consider for you. It's not the only thing that's going to give you that beauty, swimsuit model figure, though. It's actually always a collaboration of diet, exercise, and dealing, taking care of your mental aspect, which is something that I addressed in the previous video. it's not all one cure, but it is definitely something that you can address, because the thing is, if you start to remove wheat and a lot of, mainly, let's just say wheat, from your diet, well, you're actually reducing the intake of processed carbohydrates, which is, again, an excellent way of reducing calories from your body and not spiking your blood sugar anymore. And then the other thing as well, you're also addressing the fact that you're removing some genetically modified food from your diet. But again, it's all in combination with everything else. And overall, what I'd recommend is to slowly start to remove it. You don't need bread with every meal. You don't need to eat pasta every single day. So there are ways to slowly start to remove it. If you are serious about losing fat and losing weight, this is one of the things that I would recommend, because it covers removing a lot of carbohydrates from your diet as well that are in excess. So next week, I'm going to talk about how to go gluten-free if you choose to, the right way. Because there are a lot of things. You can't just all of a sudden go for all the gluten-free products, and I'll tell you why next week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.